Okay, hi guys. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah,
All right. Um, so what do you want to talk about? What's the first thing that you guys want to talk about? Hello?
म्यूट बेट को हेडफोन्स बेट को कॉल
I didn't get you. What did you say? Does ASU really waive prerequisites? Okay. Prerequisites are one way in which the university actually makes you register for extra courses and thereby get more money. So, I mean, it's not really the reason why they won't waive off prerequisites, but that's one of the reasons. The other thing is, most people who come from varying backgrounds need prerequisites because without prerequisites, they don't really match up to the level of um, education that is required here. And when I started my PhD in computer science, I've got three prerequisites. I got 310, which is data structures and algorithms. I got 355, which is theory of computation, and then I got 430, which is operating systems. And I had to do all three. Um, but to be fair, though, I found it actually helpful to do these three because I come from an electrical engineering background, and only after finishing these three courses, I really started feeling like I'm a computer science student. But on the other hand, I was completely funded, so I don't have to worry about paying the fees for those three credits, three courses. So to waive off a prerequisite, there are many ways. One, you can take the waive off exam, which happens just before the semester starts. The other thing that you can do is uh, uh, you can take your syllabus and your recommendation letters from your university and go to your advisors and argue that you have already done this material, so you don't have to take this material. And that's another way of waiving off prerequisites. But traditionally, these kind of things don't really happen unless you have a convincing argument as to, you've already done this material or something like that. So yeah, it's not that easy to waive them off. But certain people do waive them off. I know people who have waived them off before. So it's not impossible. And yeah, if you make a really good case as to why you need these courses waived off, then there's no reason why the department would not waive them off for you. Okay, so these kind of things you can. How many courses are we supposed to do apart from the prerequisites? These kind of things you can actually find online. I think it's about 30 credits. So considering each course is about 3 credits, that comes to 10 courses. So yeah, prerequisites doesn't count on your credit, so you have to do 10 to 30 credits. But there are more constraints on top of it. If you read the graduate guidelines book, you'll find that you are you are required to register for one course among systems, foundations, and applications, and you must have one in all each of these categories. And the courses that come under these categories are also available online. So yeah, that's something. And yeah, basically that's basically it. You can find these things online. It depends from department to department, degree to degree, and I think our defense it's 30 credits. From which semester does an RA start, and if we have communicated with the professor earlier regarding the same, how helpful is it? Okay, there is no particular semester from which an assistantship will start. Or, you could apply for an assistantship now before your fall semester on the summer, and you can come early and start an assistantship even before your degree program starts also. So there isn't really a time in which your RA will start and will end. It's not like that. So how research assistantships usually work is in the following manner. So there is a grant agency. There will be a grant agency, either the National Science Foundation or Paul Allen Foundation or something like that, which is usually a charity organization that gives ASU or your professor or your department or your lab a bunch of money after they write a proposal to do a particular material of research. And the principal investigator will usually be some faculty professor, advisor, something like that. And that person will try to analyze how many students they require to be working on this project topic or on this research topic, and they'll share this material with the department in so arranging RA positions. And either via department advertisement or via just talking to people, you will come to know of these opportunities. You'll talk to these professors and go through a small interview process wherein you will be hired for a research assistantship under that project. Most often than not, this will happen. This will not this manner. Things will not happen in this manner. More often than not, you will you will be interested in a particular research topic that is already started quite a few times, quite a few semesters ago. You will approach that faculty person saying that you want to work in that topic, and you will actually start working in that topic until you prove yourself to that person that you're capable of handling the material and the workload in that topic, and then that person will start funding you for the work that you're doing only after all these things happen. So more often than not, a lot of professors will want their advisee students to be students from their own classes and should have taken the material from their classes and performed well in that. So it's not really a straightforward application form kind of a system to do an RA. And you can start. So you can get RAs whenever you want. There are some labs where research assistants are in demand, which means they'll give you RAs immediately. There are some people who actually don't need a research assistant, and it's more advantageous for you to work on that research topic. So they don't necessarily fund you immediately until you prove yourself that you're good. Communicating with professors is there's a problem with that. You don't want to do it too early because you don't want to. Even though professors understand that there is a organization, they don't really um, know much about the material, and you're not expected to know anything when you go back to them in the beginning, at least in the early stages. But you are expected to be sincere and hardworking to follow up and stuff like that. So don't come across as if you know everything. Like, don't use words which you don't understand. Because if you use buzzwords that you don't understand, you read somewhere on online or something like that. If you get caught knowing that you don't know, he asks you more questions and um, you're not able to answer or follow back, then it's a bad impression. So if the first impression is be careful when you make a first impression with somebody earlier. Um, it is helpful, but you need to be careful when you do that. There's a research assistantship count for MS credits. But the research work that you do for MS can count if you're doing an MS thesis as 6 credits of thesis. You don't have to be an RA to do the thesis, and you don't have to. It's not mandatory that you should be a thesis student if you have an RA. They are completely different. Although they are related, they are completely different. Well, all courses be available everything. What about prerequisites? And what if I don't get the prerequisites? Okay. Rajesh is what you need to know. All courses are not available during the semester. There is something called a course catalog which is given 3 years in advance, and that's even that is not set in stone. It's just a guideline as to what you can expect every semester. And that's a list of courses that will help you plan your plan of study. Basically, you can expect what courses will be there. But usually, those courses are offered once a year at least, if not once in 2 years. So by the time you go through your MSW program, you'll have the opportunity to register for those courses at least once. So that's something. Um, what about prerequisites? Usually these prerequisites courses 310, 355, 430 are all undergraduate courses, and undergraduate courses are more often than not given every semester. And just by virtue of being a prerequisite course, it means that these are important courses for the degree program. And important courses are usually given every semester. And most often given by multiple faculties at the same time in different sections of classes. So yeah, those courses will be available. And undergraduate courses are usually easy to register than graduate courses. undergraduate student, you join undergraduate student. Um, but also, you don't want to really register for a prerequisite course if you have even the smallest chance that you can do it. So unless you are absolutely certain that you have no chance of getting it, don't register for the prerequisite. You can always register for there's pretty much nothing you can do if you don't get a prerequisite. You don't get it. You register for it during summer or during your spring semester. You are given a year to hold them off, and if you're not able to register for it, then you're not able to register for it. That's it. But having said that, when courses fill up at the beginning of the registration, when at the first few seconds, most of the courses will get filled up. Um, and it's unfortunate that both as I wrote in your book, it's very unfortunate that the popularity of course matters more than what the content of the course is. That's a very unfortunate situation, but that's how it is. So, but having said that, at the end of the registration period, when near the add or drop deadline, after the during the first week of the semester, a lot of people will actually swap these courses around, and that's also a sad habit that happens online, but it happens. So you might be able to find courses that way, or if not, people will drop their courses that they take them for granted. So you might be able to find those courses at the end of the semester, and you need to be very watchful. You need to always keep looking at your MyISU to find out if you can boost it. Most often than not, people drop them in the middle of the night. So you might want to take those courses before somebody else takes it. It's a sad thing that it happens, but it happens. And if you don't get it at the beginning of the registration, don't think that you will never get it. There's quite a good chance that you will get it somewhere at the other end. As a thumb rule, usually people get two out of three courses that they wanted. That's something that as an expectation, that's what something that I've looked at in the last 2 3 years. I said earlier that don't take prerequisites in the first sem. What if we don't find courses in the second sem? Oh, you still have a third semester summer option, and even if then you are not able to do it, you can talk to the department saying that you are not able to find courses and whatnot. So you will still be able to go around a little bit. But they are prerequisite courses, so you better take them in the first few semesters. It has not happened that way thus far. That nobody that I know of cannot take the prerequisite courses in the first few semesters. It has not happened that way. I know that data structures 310 course is a little difficult to take, but the other prerequisite courses are usually not that difficult to take. It's the graduate courses that have a lot of competition. Prerequisite courses, usually undergraduate courses, don't have as much competition as the graduate courses in terms of registration. So even though the classes are still huge, undergraduate courses are considerably easier to register for than graduate courses, if that is any help. Okay, is that all? Let me look at the group, find out if that's all. Okay, oh, I'm not going to tell you what courses I suggest for data scientists, but here's something. You might want to consider data mining, machine learning, statistical machine learning, fundamental statistical learning, artificial intelligence, intro to artificial intelligence, information retrieval. You might also want to go into some particular domains, like uh, what kind of data, for example, social media or imaging or videos or planning systems or education research, medical analytics. You might want to pick some area. You can also consider material in the technology aspect of data science, like database management, Hadoop systems, operating systems for data mining, If you are a computer engineering student, you can consider the hardware side of it, like the electronics behind GPUs and making GPUs and high power memory systems, low power memory systems. So it's a broad field that covers a lot of different areas, and there's a lot of different courses that ASU offers in terms of data sciences. So yeah, that's one thing. If you want to really do data science, I would suggest that you do some kind of research, because all these fields which are brand new. Let me tell you something. In my personal opinion, do you guys know how that at the beginning of every century there is one area of academics that dominate the entire century, that lays down the course for the progress of science and technology in that entire century. For example, in 17th century it was Newtonian physics, in the 20th century it was Einstein physics, in the 18th century it was Maxwell and Faraday and all those people. So electromagnetism, basically. So in this century, I believe there are going to be only two topics that is going to drive science and technology. One is going to be sustainable economics, obviously, but the other thing I believe is going to be artificial intelligence and machine learning. So if you want to get into machine learning and data mining and all those things, this is the best time to get into those fields. So you might want to do a lot more than just brush up the basics of these on these courses. You might want to do, for example, probability and statistics, linear algebra, you know, statistical random signal theories, and linear optimization, convex optimization, nonlinear optimization. You might want to do these kind of courses from departments like mathematics or industrial engineering. You are allowed two courses from outside your department, so you might want to consider doing all those things, because this field is just starting right now, and there's a lot more to go through in this field. So that's one thing. The other thing is, if you're going to get into fields like this, which are you know brand new essentially, which at least don't have 60, 70 years of legacy, you might want to think about doing research, because the moment you set on your resume that and there's an area that you help develop, even though however small it may be, you help develop it. That gives you a lot more value than just doing some courses. And also, if you want to call yourself, this is something that's general. If you want to call yourself an expert in some field, don't just do, one course. I don't know if you guys saw my earlier hangout from last year, but there's something that I believe. If you want to call yourself an expert, you need to have, at a master's level, you need to have 5 courses on that topic, maybe a couple of good solid projects on the topic, and maybe some small piece of applied project or a small thesis, maybe 1 or 2 publications on that topic. That makes you an expert. Just having 1 course or 2 courses in that material, it doesn't make you an expert. So, that's something to think about. If you want to specialize in a topic, then you need to have at least 5 courses, 3, 4 projects, maybe one paper and a thesis. Um, yeah, that's one thing. Will people consider CGPA during internships, or will they consider programming capabilities? Ah, GPA is usually, no one in an interview will ask you a GPA. Let me put it that way. In an interview process, nobody will ask you a GPA. But to get to the interview process, you will have to clear some filters on your resume, right? So when you submit a resume, usually, at least in big companies, it's not a person who picks up your resume and sees it. There's an automatic parser that reads your resume and picks up keywords and stuff like that. So that's a filter. To clear that initial filter, every company has its own GPA level. Let's call it that way. So 3.3, 3.5, something like that. 3, something like that. Usually it's not really that high. It's 3, 3.2 something. So if you have something like that, just you know that's one thing. So CGPA is considered in that manner. But usually during any job interview or an internship interview, it's the interview that counts. It's weird sometimes. It's also surprising how much importance is given to internship. It's actually a bubble. Internships are not really that important. They're not as important as your course material and stuff like that. So you don't really want to spend a lot of effort in your internship and let your courses or your GPA go down. And if you get a research opportunity over an internship opportunity, if I were you, I would prefer a research opportunity. In fact, that's what I'm doing. I have an internship somewhere, but I can't take it because I wanted to do research in the summer. There are a lot of people who do research videos. But here's the thing: internships are not that important. So it creates a lot of pressure by saying that internships are really that important and people lose focus on their academics when they do that. So forget, don't do things like that. But first semester GPAs does play a lot of role. Then if even if you don't consider them for just internships, first semester GPAs are important because if you get a poorer GPA on the first semester, it's that much more difficult to gain it back on your second semester or your third semester. But if you have a high GPA on the first semester, you have a little bit of wiggle room to um, not perform as well on your second or third semesters. So yeah, first semester GPA is that important. And since that is the only GPA that you are required for an internship interview, it is important. But internship in itself is not that big. So I don't really think about it that much. I want to choose big data track and few courses from assurance like distributed operating systems and advanced OS. Is this allowed? I don't know why it wouldn't be allowed, but I don't understand how distributed systems and advanced OS come into information assurance field. So that's something. You can take any course that is listed as a CSE course. So it, you can actually take any course, but the only things that count for your plan of study are those courses which are labeled CSE. So you don't want to take courses that are not CSE because they don't usually count. So that's something. Let me see if there's any more questions in here. Hmm. I'm interested in AI, security, big data, but I'm not able to choose one. Should I take courses in region, the first semester, narrow discipline exams? Also, we're taking three white courses in the first semester, overload, and I'm confused for selecting the right skills. Okay, in the first semester, you are allowed to explore material that you want. You can take material from different fields. It's fine. Um, of course, you want your masters to be difficult. You don't want it to be easy. If you're going to have it to be easy, then there's no point in doing this. It's just going to be an extended undergraduate, right? So you don't want it to be easy, but you also don't want it to be too difficult that you've bitten off more than you can chew either. So um, talk to more people about what courses you're taking. Talk to people who have actually done those courses. Then you'll get a better idea. So that's one thing. But yeah, you can take courses from multiple fields in your first semester to narrow down interests that you might have. You can always change fields. I changed from electrical to computer science after my master's, so you can always do that. It's not There's no problems with that. Um, just don't get lost in the middle of a degree. That's it. But but yeah, you don't have to narrow down a field. It's good if you know what you want to do at the beginning of your first semester, but it's okay if you don't. You can always find it out after coming here. You can try out a few different things and find it out. But ensure that by the end of your first semester, you know what you want to do. You don't want to be lost after your first semester. That's something. Um, um, yeah. So if you're confused, then pick multiple courses. Or if you don't even want to pick them, you can always take those courses, and most professors allow you to sit on the classrooms if the fire limit of the classroom permits. Even if you're not registered for a course, you can still sit in that class. So that's something. Are there any discussion forums where all the AIC courses are discussed, especially computer? Um, I cannot think of one right now, but I'll give you a few pointers. There's one you can look at forums from the previous years. So uh, I used to have this forum last year called MSCS in Facebook or something like that, where some courses in computer science were discussed. I don't know. There used to be a forum called Launchpad. I don't know if it still exists in runs. And I used to be part of that about a year ago, ASU Launchpad, and there are some discussions on that forums also. But the thing is, when you're looking up forums that are older, and when you're looking up conversations that are at least a year old, you don't want you want to be careful because it's opinions that are given by some people who have taken those courses a year ago, and I don't know how useful they can be now because the field of computer science changes every few months. Every time a company hosts a technical conference, the field changes. There's new topics that come into picture. There's new interests. So you don't want to rely on something that's old. And also, whenever you read all these forums that are written by just one person or two people, you are referring to the opinions of just one person or two people. I would rather advise you to talk to people rather than reading things from forums that are already done some time ago. So you don't really want to do such things. But there are such forums that you can refer to. I'm sure that there are some in the village also. But there is some in Reddit also, I think. There used to be some in Reddit 1 year ago. I don't know if it's still, if that subreddit is still there. But yeah, so you can refer from there. But I would suggest, not to do that. Yeah, I would suggest you actually find people, go on LinkedIn or go on Facebook and find people, be nice to them, make friends, and then talk to people who are already here who have taken those courses. Don't ask for opinions from people who have not taken the course about a course that you want. So there's a lot of prejudice and bias that flies around because a lot of people take courses and they talk to their friends and stuff like that. So you don't want to get second and third hand information about courses. And remember, every person takes only courses in certain field and they take only a few number of courses. So there's no one person who knows about every field and every course. So the more people you talk to, the better. Would you suggest taking 3 or 4 courses? I guess maximum allowed is 12 credits, considering each course is 3 credits. But if you're capable of doing, if you're capable of handling a lot of material, I would advise you to take, how many other courses you can. But it's traditional that people take 3 courses, master students, and 3 courses is lot demanding than what you think of. I prefer taking only 2 courses a semester, or even one sometimes. But I am a funded student and I'm a PhD student, so I don't have to finish courses in a hurry. And also, I can register for dummy credits like practicum and all those things because I'm not paying for them. So yeah, it's something. But avoid taking more than 3 courses because it gets a little difficult after. At least in my opinion, for me, it gets a little difficult after that. But if you can take it, I know a lot of people take 4 courses in some semesters, and so yeah. But regarding the department limit, I think it's 11 credits. And if you want to do 12 credits, you need to get some permission. It's not that difficult to get a permission for that, but I think you can. Here's something. Don't think that if something is not allowed, it's not allowed. There's always a way to, request. There are always some person. There's always some person who you can talk to regarding anything you want, and just find that person out and just talk to them and see if these things can be made. Currently, can see 20 graduate level CSE courses. Is it the entire list of courses, or will I be saying it? Okay. For some reason, this semester the course schedule is a little late. Usually, all these things are up a long time ago, about month before. But it's a little late this semester, and courses are getting added as we speak. Usually, 20 courses is a good number of graduate level courses. Graduate level courses are very specific, strong courses. Right? So, if you have 4 courses above 550, then those are very strong courses, and usually 20 courses is a good number. Um, some courses are offered in only in fall semester, and some courses are offered only in the spring semester. So, you know, you might want to consider. For example, the course Fundamentals of Statistical Learning is offered only in the fall semester, and a follow-up course, the Statistical Machine Learning, which is CSE 575, is offered in the spring semester. And this is like one course followed by the other, and you need to take the first one to make your life easier on the second course. Similarly, Introduction to AI is offered in the fall semester, and artificial intelligence is offered in the same spring semester. So these kind of things happen. So um, you might want to look up the spring semester catalog to find out if the course was offered in any spring semester. Most often, courses are offered in a yearly basis. Sometimes courses are offered every 2 years based on industry demand and stuff like that. So, if a course is not offered and if you know who offers that course, you can actually mail that professor and ask them, hey, when I even offer this course. I've never written a thesis. How do I work on it? Should I get in touch with it? Okay, that is a big question, and I really don't have time to answer that now. But I will do this. Uh, there is, I wrote a kind of like, I used to be on all these online forums, and I kind of wrote some documents on all these things, something like Quora, and I compiled them all into a book, and I've just published it on my website. I'll put a link to that over here, and you'll be able to I've written 3 or 4 pages on this. I've written an entire topic on this question. So how to find a thesis, what is the procedure to do a thesis and stuff like that. So I'll share that with you, and you'll be able to find your answer. Let me find that out right now. So I'm posting the link over here now. I think it's already on the board, but yeah, in that link there's a book, and in that book I have written extensively about this. It's a big thing to talk about over here right now, and I really don't want to get into it right now, but let me see. It's chapter number 3. Yes, you. So the question is, can we take 3 courses apart from the prerequisites? Yes, you can. If you think you can manage them, yeah, you can. But I would advise you against that because, in my opinion, it is very difficult to do more than 3 courses. So I would advise you against that. But if you think you can manage those courses and if you are relevant enough that you can do it, which is actually a good thing, just caveat that it's going to be difficult. Oh, the question is, what are these practicum courses? Practicum courses uh, are just courses which they're just empty credits. Like if you're doing a thesis and you're in your last semester and you find that you need you by law you must register for 12 credits or something like that by your funding agency's rule, and you don't want to actually take courses, so you just want to fill up your credits using empty credits. And practicum of those empty credits. They just don't do anything. It's just some courses that you just finish. Most master students will never require an empty credit. Okay, I think this will be the last question that I'm taking. So let's say I keep my prerequisite for my second sem and I have to pay. Will this period count towards the minimum number? Yes. So there's two different things. There's one which is the degree programs requirement, and then there's one which is the immigration requirement. Your visa says that you are a full-time student. What that means is you need to be registered full-time with the university. And full-time at ASU is registering for 9 credits. So if you register for 9 credits, you're a full-time student. Those credits can be any credits. As long as you're registered for 9 credits and you're paying fees for 9 credits, you're a full-time student. That's your visa requirement. And as long as you stay within your visa requirement, your visa is valid. If you miss your visa requirement, your visa will get invalidated. The the plan of study is, or the program study is, the credits among the 9 credits that you take, only certain credits will apply for your degree. So those are credits that prerequisites don't come under those credits. You cannot claim that a prerequisite will add up to the 30 credits that you have on your degree program, for instance. So yeah, so the immigration law and the prerequisite law are different. The minimum 9 credits come from the immigration law, and the prerequisite is not a law; it's a rule that the department has. So what the department requires is different from what the immigration law requires. So okay, I think I'm gonna stop now because I have to leave. We'll do more of these things in the future, so we can do better. Okay, I'm gonna end the podcast. Sure.